Welcome. Everything is fine. You are listening to Forkin Bullshirt, the Good Place podcast. I'm Vivienne.
And I'm Jason.
We'll be the disco Janets of your afterlife. What it is!
Today we're talking about Season 4, Episode 7, The Funeral to End All Funerals. It was written by Josh Siegel and Dylan Morgan, directed by Kristen Bell, and it aired November 14th, 2019. Now, that name is familiar.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard it once or twice, right?
That's not our Kristen Bell, is it?
Guess what? It totally is.
Hey! You go, girl.
Yeah. All right, let's get right into the recap. The team rushes to Mindy's house to meet with the accountant and find out if they've won. He informs them no humans can go to the judge's chambers until she's issued a ruling. The three humans and Janet roam the neighborhood until they can think of a way to distract themselves by hosting a funeral to end all funerals.
Awesome! And you know what they say in Florida? If you don't like this funeral, just wait a minute.
In the judge's chamber, Michael, Sean, and the Good Place committee gather to hear the verdict. The results show that Simone, Chidi, and John improved, but Brent worsened by 1%.
Shoot. Shouldn't have committed so hard to this band thing.
Back in the neighborhood, the team hosts a funeral for Tahani in a private jet and a funeral for Jason in a swimming pool. They reflect on the qualities of their friends and lessons they've learned from them.
Michael argues that despite Brent's minimal deterioration, the other three improved a lot when they were free of Earth's complications. Sean argues against him, and Michael asks Matt to call up the files of Camilla, Pillboy, Donna Shellstrop, and Patricia. He shows them how each person improved after the Soul Squad intervened.
Look, the point is, people improve when they get external love and support. How can we hold it against them when they don't?
Back in the neighborhood, Janet reflects on what she's learned from the humans, and they throw a funeral for Eleanor, complete with shrimp and margarita mix. They attempt to hold a funeral for Chidi, but Eleanor can't give a eulogy, and they're called out to hear the judge's verdict. She tells them they've won, and moving forward, Earth is cancelled.
Obviously, Earth is cancelled.
Earth is what now?
All humans on Earth and in the afterlife will be extinguished, and we will start the entire human race over from scratch.
The team tries to appeal to the judge, but she is resolute in her decision. Just as she's about to hit the button to destroy Earth, Janet takes the button into her void. Bad Janet shows up with Michael and Janet's manifesto and says she's on their side now.
Oh, I should have explained. It's not two of us, it's all of us. Hi. What up, nerd?
Hello.
Eat my farts, losers.
I am
Hi. Hello there. Hi there. What up, fart knockers?
Hi. Hello.
What it is, what it is.
What up,
Hello there.
Sent the manifesto around to all the other Janets. We have a group text now.
All the Janets show up to hide the judge's button in their voids, giving the team time to figure out their next move. Eleanor pleads with Michael to wake up Chidi, as he may be their only hope.
Help me, Obi-Wan Chidi Gagne. You're my only hope.
Obi-Wan Chidi Gagne. It's good, it's good. So, Jason, how did you feel about this episode?
I really liked it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It felt like old school Good Place.
Oh, how come?
I think because all of our Soul Squad and everybody was back together, minus Chidi. I mean, he was kind of Weekend at Bernie's style, but he was still there, and they all were kind of riffing off of each other, and it was just nice to have them all together again.
Yeah. This episode felt a little bit like a series finale to me.
Really?
I think with all the funerals and the callbacks, it was like we were seeing a highlight reel of the show. We get to see how much all our beloved characters have grown. We see Tahani is no longer obsessed with social status. She doesn't want to know what happened at her funeral on Earth. She agrees to wear sweatpants to Eleanor's funeral, something she never would have done back in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Eleanor's not a loner who's always putting herself first anymore. She's capable of expressing her love to other people. She actually says that she loves Tahani, and Janet's not a servant anymore. She's part of this team fighting for humanity, and well, Jason is still very much Jason, but he continues to be this, like, you know, really bright light in all situations.
The only thing we're missing is
Chidi.
Eleanor and Chidi's finale.
Yeah. And I did miss Chidi a lot in this episode. But it was nice. Like, it was nice to see the funerals because they were just chock full of nostalgia. And it was great to see all the callbacks, like Stupid Nick's Wing Dump and Lonely Gal Margarita Mix. Of course, all the Jacksonville Jaguars merch. And
Yeah, Janet looked dope AF in that hat.
right? She looked good in that hat. She can pull it off. We even had Tahani's International Sophisticate magazine cover.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, you mentioned Weekend at Bernie's, right? And they actually made that joke before in season 1. When Chidi was just so completely overwhelmed after having accidentally killed Janet, right? So it was nice to actually see him really be Weekend at Bernie's.
Absolutely. Like floating
Chidi.
around in the sunglasses in the pool. It was just amazing.
Yeah, we got a photo of Jason's motorcycle. The one that he blew up, of course. We get the "Ya Dead" banner, which was pretty great. That was what Eleanor said to John, right? She's like, I'm sorry to inform you, but ya dead. And then we got a bunch of different shots of the book, What We Owe to Each Other. Not only in Chidi's funeral, but in Eleanor's too, which was nice. So, I don't know. It was like, it felt like saying goodbye to these characters in a way. Quick goodbye, but is nice to get that moment. I think that's why it felt more like a series finale to me. Not so much the stuff going on with Michael and the judge and everybody,
Right.
but with our main characters. It was like, we are going to be going at lightning speed from here.
That's what I'm worried about.
I that's what I'm thinking. And so we need to take a moment in this episode to just let our characters connect. Yeah.
So from here on, it's very likely that it's just going to be go, go, go until the finale.
Yeah, I mean, we get a huge twist in this episode with Earth being canceled.
Yeah.
I don't want to be canceled. I'm still here, guys. I still have lots of things to do. But yeah, like classic Good Place with all the twists too. We get Earth is canceled, and then we get Janet saving the day, and then we get bad Janet helping, and then we get all the Janets. It was like twist, 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 twist.
And then we get the judge saying, how's that for a twist?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
well, let's rewind.
Okay.
Go back to the beginning of the episode.
All right.
The accountant says no humans are allowed in the chambers.
Rude.
Very rude. But it got me thinking, are our humans technically human anymore? Because their bodies were kind of destroyed when they entered Janet's Void. When they left Janet's Void, I'm sure they were repurposed and reformed. But I don't know, does that technically make them human? I don't know.
Well, if you think of humanity simply as the body, then Michael and the judge and Sean would all be human because
Right.
they're wearing human suits, right?
Absolutely.
Do you think that they're human because they're wearing human suits? Jason, you're looking at me like you think they're human because they're
I
wearing
don't think
suits.
they're human. And I think that
Okay.
makes our Soul Squad not human.
Because they're just projections of light or something?
Sure. I don't know. I think I'm just, grasping at straws here. But it
Grasp away.
it didn't sit well for me as soon as he was like, no humans allowed. And I'm like, are we doing like semantics here, I guess?
Right. They've been dead for a long time. They've also been running this experiment. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not that important.
Yeah, but maybe the judge doesn't know that Eleanor has been the team leader. Maybe she thinks that Michael has really been running things.
Right.
And she doesn't actually know how much the humans have been involved in the experiment.
She probably wouldn't be too happy. Also, Jason says, we've died so many times, it's kind of getting like annoying, right? How many times have they actually died? I can't think of more than once.
Okay, well, they died the first time when they came to
Sure.
the fake Good
Okay.
Place. And then they were reborn, kind of. They were reset, I guess, at the end of season 2. And then they
But
had
they
to
didn't
die.
die.
No, almost died. So then they died at the end of near the end of season 3 when they went into Janet's void. So that was technically their second time dying.
Right.
So they've only died twice.
Right.
But they've been reset so many times.
Absolutely.
I think that's
what I'm getting at. So if they've been reset, 800 plus times, but not their entire memories have just been reset. It's only been their memories since they've died. So does that technically count as dying? Like, what would Hume say about that? Because you're just a bundle of experiences and memories and stuff, right? So, if somebody wakes up from a coma, like a 10-year coma, and they don't remember those 10 years, that doesn't mean they've died and are reborn, unless they get a new personality and their old self has died. And this new personality has just been born after waking up from this coma, for example.
I think it depends on how you define death.
Right.
Right?
So, I think Jason is quite confused in this situation.
I think so too. But in a way, like from what we learned from Chidi in season 3, his impression of things was, well, that Chidi who fell in love with Eleanor before is not me Chidi. It's him Chidi. It's a different Chidi, right? So I don't have those memories. I don't have that connection with you. So
that
it's
Chidi
not
is
me.
Gone, and that Chidi is dead.
Yeah, and the only one I have is the one I am right now.
Right.
So
if we think about it like that, then they have absolutely died 800 plus times.
Although they have not had like 15 funerals. They've had 2, as far as I can tell. And I don't know if Jason got a funeral so much as he got a Red Lobster graffitied about him. That was a good joke. I like that.
Yeah. I was completely wrong about the episode title when we were discussing it last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Totally way off. And also, I guess it turns out the Janet eating her babies was just a one-time gag.
Yeah, we're not going to see that. I think that's fine, though. I'd really rather they didn't. I don't want to see. I'm just imagining, because hamsters sometimes eat their young, and also hamsters have very deep cheek pockets, I guess. So if you ever see them eating something, it's like they can shove an entire
carrot,
like, regular-sized carrot into their mouth, and they just kind of hold it there. So I was imagining that kind of vibe from Janet eating her babies, like just a lot of them going in, a lot of cheek puffing.
Okay. See,
it would be gross.
I was imagining, if you've ever watched Steven Universe, anybody out there, there's a scene where Amethyst eats a burrito. She just lifts her head back, unhinges her jaw, and just swallows it whole. And that's just what I imagined Janet doing. Just leaning her head back and just shoveling in people.
I didn't need a repeat of like Janet's mouth getting wide and Michael putting his arm down her throat. No, that was pretty gross. Another thing that we were wrong about was that the judge was not testing the original 4 humans. We kind of thought that was going to happen. I did. It
seemed like a good kind of twist.
Yeah. It would have made more sense, I think, in a way. I think it would have been almost predictable because we've had this test from the judge before. So I was pleasantly surprised when Michael asked to call up the files of the 4 humans on Earth affected by Eleanor and Tahani and Jason. It kind of made that episode or the couple of episodes from season 3 feel a lot more important to the overall
yes, absolutely.
narrative. Yeah. And it gave us Michael's really beautiful line. People improve when they get external love and support. How can we hold it against them when they don't? That was very poignant. They give Michael's got a lot of good lines this season.
I think my new favorite line of the show is when Michael says, "What those numbers don't tell you is who he could have become tomorrow."
Yeah.
And that's my new favorite line, besides all the joke lines. I found up here. I found down. It's up here, and it's dope.
That will always remain your favorite.
Always be my favorite.
But yes, that's a poignant line,
yes.
right? It has impact.
What these numbers don't tell you is who he could have become tomorrow.
That's true.
So
I just really like that we get to know that those moments had this lasting impact on the friends and family of our team.
Even Pillboy.
Yeah. I mean, Pillboy might be doing it because he thinks he's helping FBI astronauts or something. But, you know, it's good. To me, it just showed that even though we're gone, we leave our mark on Earth and, you know, it ripples out. It's not only are those people directly getting better, but they're helping, you know, the elderly at the retirement home. They're helping the women. They're helping those women that are being helped by this scholarship. You know, Donna's stepdaughter. They all feel the impact of the team's actions. So it's not so self-contained.
Right. It's very much a pay it forward type thing. Like,
yeah,
you help one person and they'll help 2 others and 4 and 8, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of those graphs, I was looking at the trends.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked like Camilla was on a downward slump.
Oh, bummer.
It seems like the omelet art installation wasn't doing her any favors. Donna was coasting along pretty low. Not too many positives. I mean, employment at Women's Health Center has not defrauded Women's Health Center. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
For Donna Shellstrap, that is an improvement.
For sure. Now, Patricia had lots of ups and downs as a child. I guess that makes sense. And then Pillboy wasn't doing so hot either, of course. He was kind of scraping the bottom of the chart. But it looks like he was actually doing better than Donna.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of funny. But
I noticed it said he stopped stealing pills, which
good
is good.
for you, Pillboy. Good for you.
No theft, making sure that the medications go to the people that they are prescribed for.
Maybe his new nickname will be not Pillboy.
Care Boy?
Care Boy.
He's caring for people. Care Boy.
Care Bear Boy.
Aw. I was just really glad with that moment. Like, I was kind of bummed because I wanted us to be right about the judge really testing the 4 humans.
Mm-hmm.
But this kind of alleviated all of that sadness. I was like, oh no, I like this. This is good.
They worked it into a good narrative.
The team isn't being tricked. It's just we have to look at things a different way. And I like that.
Yeah.
I was almost bummed in this episode because previously I said that I didn't want Bad Janet to come in and save the day. And so when I first saw her, I was like, no, what are we doing? Are we going to make her save the day? I don't want that. So I'm pretty happy with what they did with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like she saved them so much as she just provided assistance for them to have time to figure out a plan. So that's good. You know, she was part of a team, and it was cool because not only did she come back, but she managed to assemble all of the Janets in this totally Bad Janet way through a group text, which I love. And now I want to see all the Janet's phones, and I want to see our Janet with a phone. She deserves a phone after all this time. And I was glad the Good Place Committee was just as useless as ever, because
so useless.
I don't want anyone but our heroes to save the day.
It's like, what are they even doing there?
I don't know. Other than thinking that Sean's insults are colorful. Ugh. They're the worst. They're so pointless.
Well, I guess I'm kind of right about Bad Janet being the catalyst.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, she had an important role to play.
Yes, she did. Which I'm sure anybody could have predicted. But, oh well, I predicted it on tape. Digital tape.
Digital tape. Is that what this is?
Sure.
Okay.
It's digital tape. I'm not 400 years old.
So.
That's actually in my notes here. The Return of the Good Place Committee, and they're still just as awful as ever.
Yeah.
So, we agree on that.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the judge's decision to cancel Earth?
Immediately, it reminded me of an episode of South Park.
Oh.
Season 7, episode 1, is called Cancelled. And it's a very meta episode about how the show is getting stale and how we're still interesting. But basically the boys find out that Earth is just a television show, a reality show put on by aliens. and they go and try to convince the aliens not to cancel their show because suddenly Earth discovers that they are a show, and that makes the show less interesting.
Right.
So they're like, well, the contestants found out they're in a show, so we're just going to cancel it. So, and then at the end of the episode, they convince the aliens to wipe everyone's memory so they can just continue on being a reality show. And I guess that's canon now from season 7 onward in South Park.
Oh.
In like season 23 or so, that Earth is still just a reality show. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something that some people have contemplated, like the idea that this, not necessarily that this is a reality show, but that we're really just here as entertainment for someone else,
right,
like a
and
higher
we talked about that
being
in some form when we were discussing the Truman Show syndrome and all of that. But yeah, it just immediately made me think of that episode, and I thought, oh, that's kind of a dick thing to do for the judge, like cancel everything and just reboot everything. And then I thought exactly what she was thinking, like, well, what did you expect? And I thought, oh crap, I don't know, what did I expect?
Yeah, I don't think that the team thought of a way to fix the problem. They just wanted to point out that it existed.
Right, the problem's here, you fix it. And judge is like, okay, I'll just restart everything.
And Michael says, oh, I thought we could just add another point to eating an apple. It could be 3 points instead of 2, but
that doesn't fix the problem.
Exactly. It's like a tiny tweak to this system isn't going to fix things.
Yeah.
We need an overhaul. Like, this is going to be a lot of work. Yeah. And I think Jen is kind of lazy. Like,
yeah.
she wants
the quick fix.
She wants to go get her Timothy Oliphant on. She doesn't really feel like overhauling a system that she was created to uphold as well. Like, she is literally the judge of this system. Of course she doesn't want it to be gone. Then she has no purpose anymore. Wow, Jen could have a different purpose. Jen would be great as a different type of entity, not as a judge.
A way more hands-on approach to the whole system.
Right? Because she's just like in her chambers watching TV shows most of the time.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder what they're going to do at the end of the show, because we have, on the one hand, the judge saying that Earth is just too complicated at this point and there's no way for us to keep going. Mm-hmm. And then we have Michael saying, okay, well, maybe we can change what we do with the points then. So I feel like it's a hint that we're going to get some kind of purgatory type situation, but I still don't know if the afterlife should be so segregated into the good and bad place, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see where this is going to go.
Yeah, the solution for Jen is, it's kind of reminiscent of what we're going through right now on Earth. Like global warming, pollution, shortages of water, food, overpopulation, etc. Mm-hmm. A lot of money is being put into exploration of space, getting people onto other planets.
Right. Planet B, Mars, right?
We're going to head to Mars, we're going to start over. Because Earth is just, it's too complicated to fix right now. We're just going to, we'll try the next one. Mm-hmm. It's been a good run, guys, but we'll see what this red planet has to offer.
Right.
So I don't know. It just reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
And
put in the work.
Yeah.
Do what Greta Thunberg says and just get to work.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
I thought of cancel culture right away. Mm-hmm. Which is, I guess, a controversial term. I'm not sure exactly what other terms, call out culture maybe, but it made me think of some, and it's kind of become a joke now. It's kind of become he said one sexist joke, okay, canceled, like
get him off the air.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that we get this in a season where we have someone like Brent as well, because you can joke all the time about Brent being canceled, but that doesn't mean that anything actually happens to Brent.
Right.
Like, yes, you don't tolerate the way that he behaves, you call him out. When he's behaving that way, you don't support him financially, whatever. But like, that doesn't mean anything in the good place. That doesn't mean anything in the afterlife. So you can't just cancel things. You need to try to do better, basically. You need to try to improve things. Because canceling things kind of just implies that you're like, I'm just done with you. We're just done. We're going to sweep that out of the rug, or we're going to throw that in the trash can, and then we'll just start new with someone else. But the earth isn't going anywhere unless you destroy it. Which obviously the judge is capable of doing with her little garage door opener thing.
It's a lot of power in that button.
Yeah, right? But it's kind of... It's the lazy way out. It's the easy way out of just, I will just destroy this and we'll just start over again.
Right.
What's to say that starting over again is going to help anything, right? Because it's not as though those human beings are going to be able to learn from their ancestors if you literally blow up Earth and start up again. If you get rid of the
ancestors, how are you going to learn from them?
Yeah, it's going to be a little hard to teach them that, hey, maybe you shouldn't do some things because eventually it will mess up the planet. And this is how you should interact, because eventually people will not tolerate that kind of behavior anymore. And also you shouldn't do it in the first place. But all of those lessons that people have learned because we've evolved, and some lessons that we still haven't learned, of course, just there's no opportunity for that. There's just such an easy way out.
If you don't overhaul the system, you can't fix it.
Yeah. Basically all this to say that, you know, this judge was created to uphold the system. So she's, honestly, I feel like she's unable to see what the afterlife could be without it. It's like you can't conceive of a different system when all you have had is one.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's literally been eternity.
Yes.
You know, she wants this simple solution, just blowing up Earth, but there isn't one. And canceling Earth doesn't affect her personally. Like, she says, oh, see you in a billion years, Michael, Janet, and Sean. But she is going to literally kill billions of people. And that doesn't bother her. It doesn't even make her think.
Nope. Not for a second.
It, I mean, I love Jen, but yikes.
I mean, she's absolutely right. The points aren't the problem. It's about giving people the chance to become better. So whatever rehabilitation phase comes, like, it has to happen. So there has to be that. And she needs to either be convinced and to let it happen. I don't know. Because she's not going to just let Michael and Eleanor and Chidi figure out, like, she has to approve it. She's got all the power.
Yeah, and who knows what she's going to be approving after all the Janets play keep away.
Right. And they've got, like, what, 45 minutes? And I'm sure a few minutes of that is going to be spent with, okay, I'm Eleanor, you're Chidi, we used to be a thing, it was kind of hot, you look great in a mailman outfit, your ass I can bounce a penny off of. You know, a few minutes to go through that.
A few minutes of smoochy.
By the way, you have to come up with a system to save existence.
No pressure.
So...
let's get on that.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah. It was interesting to see how callous she is. She's a judge. She's impartial. She doesn't actually care about these people. She... You know, she sings her I'm Gonna Miss Everybody, See You at the Crossroads song, which I didn't know what song that was until after the episode. So, yeah. I'm calling myself out on that one.
It's okay, I didn't either. So.
Okay, good. We see here that very clearly she doesn't actually care about them.
Yeah.
So, a little harsh.
A little bit. Especially since... after that time that she actually went to Earth to experience it, maybe she would have a bit of an empathetic, bone in her body.
Yeah, but really it just kind of confirmed for her that Earth is a mess. So really, it's more justification for me to go ahead and cancel it.
Yeah,
yes,
good
this
call.
experiment is over now. Apparently Kristen Bell was the one who wanted Maya Rudolph to sing that song. The Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Crossroads. She was the one who wanted her to do that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. That was fun, actually. I did like it. I had a couple other kind of random thoughts. How much of Friends do you know? I can't remember how much you've watched.
A lot of it.
Okay, so do you agree with Michael's assessment that Phoebe should not go to the bad place?
Absolutely
out of all
not.
of them?
Absolutely not. She's
Okay.
horrible. They're all horrible.
They're all horrible?
They're all awful. Just like in Seinfeld, like they're all
Oh,
terrible
come on.
people.
They're not as bad as Seinfeld.
They're pretty bad.
Literally, they're not as bad as Seinfeld.
I
George killed his fiance.
It was an accident.
Well, he didn't care.
He didn't really like her that much. He just liked the idea of love and marriage.
Definitely a worse person.
So I think out of all the friends, the least likely to go to hell, I think, would have been Chandler.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's the most, like, I don't know, he grounded, I guess, and less aloof than everyone else.
Okay.
He called out a lot of his friends on their BS, and I think...
See, Michael says definitely Chandler, so
yeah,
you guys are on
I totally
opposite
disagree.
Sides.
Yeah.
See, I think you could argue for Joey getting in, because he's kind of like Jason, just much more of a womanizer.
Mm-hmm.
But Joey's not that bad when it comes to women. He's not a Barney Stinson type. Like, he's
Right.
not trying to con women into being with him. He's
just hitting on everyone.
Charming and constantly hitting on women. Yes.
Sure. His
I'm
charm
sure I'm
could use a
remembering
lot of
like
work.
some moments where he's, done something questionable with a woman. But he's kind of that Jason type. He's a lovable idiot, right?
Mhm.
So I think you could potentially argue for Joey getting into the good place.
Yeah,
I mean, if it was like a low threshold good place, not the ones we've seen so far where
Right.
no one's been in for 500 years, but yeah, I was a little surprised. I was like, Phoebe, really? I mean, I don't think Phoebe's that great.
I mean, she had a few things going for her. She was vegetarian.
Yeah.
She
and-
didn't wear fur.
Yeah.
She was an artist.
Uh-huh.
She cared about animals.
Yeah, sure.
So she's basically Doug Forsythe, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm interested to hear what people think of that. If you feel like Michael, that Phoebe should definitely go to the good place, or, are there other characters in the show? Should Rachel go? Should Ross go? If you think Ross should go, I think we should have a conversation. Another thing is that we finally find out what happened to Jason's mom. We were always kind of curious about what went on with her, and we only ever knew about a dad.
Yeah, we didn't really learn much, just that she died.
Yeah, but now we know.
Yep.
And it was a weird moment. Like, it was kind of a joke where he was talking about the crocodile. That was a very self-aware moment for Jason. Like, I can joke about a Florida thing.
Yeah.
But, oh, no, it was just cancer. Watch me do a handstand. Yeah.
I wonder if that's because he was too young to remember it, or whether he was old enough so he understood it and he was able to work through it.
I think it's very possible that he doesn't really remember her.
There's that moment when Jason is playing the song that he wrote, but of course vocalizing it very amazingly. Janet's just loving it. She's like, if you watch her, she's happy and she's bobbing her head and
having a good time.
Having a great time.
She certainly loves his happy blob of positivity.
In the new Dora the Explorer movie.
Wow.
Which was quite fun.
Wow.
Let's just be honest.
Wow.
Dora's dad, played by Michael Pena, he talks to Dora about the dangers of the city and don't go to a rave because the music is like, and then he starts doing rave music, but he just starts vocalizing it just like Jason did, and it's just a great moment. It reminded me a lot of that. So, a little bit of a, yeah. It's just funny.
That was a very Jason moment.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
He really wanted to go to Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
I had no idea what that was.
Oh, okay.
Because we're in Canada?
Yeah, surprisingly, I know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently we have 2 in Ontario.
What?
The only places in Canada that we have them are in Ontario, and they're just a couple hours away.
Toronto? Ottawa? Montreal?
No, they're
Cornwall?
crappy little towns. One's in Vaughan. Yeah.
Vaughan's not crappy. That's like right in Toronto.
It's outside of Toronto.
Okay,
It's
like
Canada's
right
Wonderland.
It's right outside of Toronto. It's Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah. And then the other one is somewhere around there. Like, I don't know.
Pickering?
Sure.
Ajax?
Something like that.
Okay.
But, yeah. I didn't know what Dave & Buster's was, so there we go.
Well, we'll have to go someday, just so you can get the real experience.
Blow some money.
Yeah.
They got billiards.
They have their own money, don't they?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
is that where they go in It's Always Sunny?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where they go. They want to do what Dave & Buster's... Oh, right. Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Another little thing that I noticed, and I was like, ooh, are the writers doing a thing here? Because Brent is literally the 1% ruining things for everyone else.
1%.
He's part of the 1%, and
Yes.
he's ruining things for literally everyone else. Because if they wouldn't have had this whole argument if he had just improved by like 1% or 2% or something instead of being in the negative.
Our whole conversation about Brent ruining things for everybody in existence was absolutely accurate.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah. I mean, he felt genuine remorse for the first time, and he nearly expressed that genuine remorse for the first time. So he got that little swing up, which was good. Glad to know he really was going to say sorry. But come on, Brent! God darn it. Ugh.
One last bit of knowledge I'm going to slap in your face.
Oh, wow.
Janet says I could just barf up a quasar.
Yes.
She's super happy and whatever. And I know what a quasar is. Like, in my head, I know what it is. But I don't accurately know how to describe it. So I was like,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's very similar to a star.
Okay.
I thought it was like, okay, an exploding star, something like that. So I wanted to look it up and make sure I knew what it was. And it turns out I was like, I don't know, an eighth right?
Okay.
It's pretty close.
So we're
but
doing well.
I don't think it would go so well in my thesis getting into astronomy school.
Astronomy school.
So let's explain what a quasar is.
Okay.
An extremely luminous active galactic nucleus.
Wow.
In which a supermassive black hole with a mass ranging from millions to billions of times the mass of the sun is surrounded by a gaseous structure formed by diffuse material in orbital motion around the massive central body. The central body is typically a star. That structure is called an accretion disk. So...
What did you just say?
I know, right?
What did you just... I don't understand. It's a black hole? It's a nucleus? It's
an
outer
active
space?
galactic nucleus
What does that
surrounding...
mean?
I couldn't
That sounds
tell.
like
It's-
something from Star Trek. I don't
It is,
understand.
because Star Trek is in space.
I
And
know.
then a quasar is in space. But basically, it's this constantly flowing, changing black hole type thing, but it's even like more impressive because a black hole is like the inside of it. And then it's surrounded by millions or billions of stuff. It's like diffuse material, so it's just space dust or like other crap. Rocks, who knows? Just mystery stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all orbiting around this massive body. And like massive as in like, you know, bigger than millions of times bigger than the sun. We're talking huge.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Yeah. Then the central body is usually like a star. So it's all, the star could be the center of this giant space, I don't know, like monstrosity.
So does that mean Janet can conjure up these kinds of things? Does she have that power?
Probably.
Wow. It's pretty powerful.
She's got a void.
True.
So,
But a void is outside of time and space.
Right.
So it's not part of space.
Yeah. It's interesting. Maybe it's just a Janet exaggeration. Like, as if any of them would know what a quasar was.
Right? Jason is like, wait, what? Did she just say quesadilla?
I could go for a quesadilla right now.
Extra guac, please. All right, do you want to get to our mailbag?
What do we have?
See you with the mailbag. See you with the mailbag. No, you
Nailed
don't like
it.
my
No,
version.
it was great. I loved it.
Okay. So we have a couple of little comments. The first comes from Maria at L_Maria on Twitter. So Maria said, in my opinion, you were all confusing shame with humility on the latest episode. Shame is often toxic. To me, humility is a better antidote to grandiosity. So I already replied to Maria on Twitter, but I just wanted to put this out there as well. I totally agree that shame can be toxic, and humility is definitely a better antidote to, superiority than shame, but I wasn't confusing the two. I was talking about shame as a tool for growth, as a way for Brent to self-evaluate and change his behavior. So one thing that might help is to think about these in two different ways, to think of two different kinds of shame. So toxic shame, which is that kind of shame you feel for like maybe neglect or abuse in your childhood or an abusive situation or something like that. Like this shame that makes you feel like you're unlovable, you're undeserving, all those things. And a productive kind of shame. So productive shame can be a signal to us when we've acted responsibly or we've been insensitive. It's telling us to pay attention to our behavior and to try to do better in the future. So Eleanor was experiencing a productive kind of shame in season 1 when Chidi was talking to her about the way that she behaved, and she could see how people reacted around her and she could see how people behaved around her. That was a productive shame. Yes, maybe there were moments of toxic shame in there as well, but I think that generally she was able to use that as a signal for when she needs to behave better.
So an example, could that be when Eleanor was at the party in season 3 and she was trying to get the study group to stay together, and then she caused that scene and leaves.
Right.
And acts like a little baby.
Yeah, and afterwards when she is in the parking lot and
hiding behind the bush.
Yeah, and Simone comes up to her, and Simone is able to just be very straight with her and say, no, you were behaving kind of ridiculously there. And I think this is why, she understands where Eleanor's coming from, and there's probably an element of like that toxic shame there because she was neglected so much as a child, and she wasn't able to really connect with people on Earth. But that was productive for her. It was good for her to be able to understand, this is why I do these things, and this is what I could do in the future.
Right.
To not behave that way, which doesn't make me feel good and doesn't make other people feel good. So I appreciate Maria for you to point this out. I didn't really think about humility. It's good to clarify that I didn't mean to talk about toxic shame.
Our next piece of mail comes from Matthew at MatthewLee_3. Matthew says, hey guys, love the podcast. Random thought that occurred to me. Since nobody has gotten into the good place in 500 years, that makes Mindy St. Clair the best human in the eyes of the show.
Yeah, I guess she is. I feel like she's kind of a plot hole in the show.
Yeah, they're not quite sure. Like, I think they introduced her as a scenario for our characters to kind of see that there's something else out there. And then from there on, it just opened up so many possibilities that people are like, wait, but what about this? What about that? Who made the neighborhood? Is there a Janet involved? Does the good place or the bad place, do they look the other way? Like, what's going on?
And how did one act make the two worlds fight over her. Like, that's big.
Since the beginning of humanity.
Yeah.
Like, there only been one case. Well, 2
Well,
cases,
I think
believe.
she might be case number 3, 2 or 3. We're not sure who the first one is.
Right.
The show hasn't given us any kind of definitive answer on this, but it might be that her dying so suddenly after establishing this charity means that none of the unintended consequences from founding that charity and everything were applied to her, right? It was just all the good points, all the good intention points and all that kind of stuff without, all the messy stuff that comes along with it. Of maybe, a CEO who's getting too much money and,
Yeah.
HR manager who actually sexually harasses people, whatever. That kind of thing. So, to me, it just kind of seems like a plot hole in the show. I hope that at some point they explain it, but I feel like if they do, they're going to do like a little hand-wavy thing.
Right.
Kind of like we got with Chidi in this episode.
About the muscles.
Yes. Someone told him that it alleviates anxiety, so he just kept doing push-ups forever. And yeah.
It was very just off of that, I know a lot of people online were, guessing how he could be so strong, and I liked a very similar solution or answer was he couldn't decide which exercise machine to choose at the gym, so he just used them all.
Yeah, I like that too. That's a good one.
But anyway, thanks for your letter, Matthew. We appreciate it.
So we have one more episode before the break. Episode 9, The Answer, airs November 21st.
Yesterday.
Yeah, we're still catching up. And then The Good Place is going to be on a break until January 2020. So
buckle up, guys. We're in for a little bit of a wait.
Yeah.
But then it's going to be straight shooting down to the end.
Oh, I'm going to miss this show so much. I'm going to miss you at the crossroads. Oh.
This has been Forkin Bullshirt, a Multiverse Radio production. If you're a fan of the show, please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. Tell your friends, your neighbor, your disco janets, and if you want to join the conversation, we're on Twitter at Multiverse Radio and Facebook at Multiverse Radio Podcast. Use the hashtag FBullshirt, and you can send us an email. Our address is info@multiverseradio.ca.
Thank you for listening. I'm Vivienne.
And I'm Jason.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'm gonna miss everybody, and I'm gonna miss everybody. See you at the crossroads. See you at the crossroads.